Hello there, and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about The Beast, which is a Bertrand Bonello film. It was released limited in 2023, but generally around the world it was released in 2024. We got it over in the UK in 2024. It is a masterpiece, it is stunningly good, and it's impossible to talk about, which is the problem. So yeah, this one's intimidating to talk about because it's like, how do you even start? It's a film is to be experienced. It's kind of like how David Lynch films are hard to discuss in the sense of a lot of it is the experience to watch the film, and a lot of it is things that are apparent in the film, but trying to put them into words can be difficult. But I'll do my best. I'll try not to be too spoilery because it's a new film. So the basic idea is that 20 years from now, we have AI has advanced quite a bit. Well, just coming off of America's Civil War, there's been chaos all around, and AI has found a way to delete certain emotions, and people are so like fed up of the world always been at war for no reason, just because people are just overly emotional with things. That you can get a thing where you can do. Society has become like you can get good jobs, interesting jobs in society. You have to have a process that limits your emotions a little bit, just so that things can get processed quicker and easier. And you can still do what you like to do. It's just that you're not going to be quite as emotional as you were before. And the way of doing this is very Assassin's Creed. Is you go back in time through your DNA strands to find the traumas in your past and make sense of your past lives, and by processing that you will actually see your base character, and it will actually be easier for you to actually go through this process to clean your DNA up to actually be a person who's could be useful to humanity rather than someone who's this emotional wreck who will just cause havoc. So anyone who doesn't go through this process can't get a job that's interesting because you're not trusted. You don't want you there to mess things up. So you have a choice of either do this process or get stuck in a boring job that's going to drive you insane. You can see this happening, can't you? Finding ways to make people less emotional. Yeah. Don't let Elon Musk see this film. So the film goes back, and the lead character is played by Seydoux, who's you go back to two different times in her past, where, and the first one she's this musician, and what it's like 1912, I think. There's electricity, there's things going on, that's civilization is going well, but so we're getting things automized by electricity and things like that, but it's still early parts of the revolution into the new modern world from where we were for millennia. And basically, it's she's having this sense of dread about the future, and she talks to McKay, who's the other lead character, and he's been. She talked to him about this years ago, and they run into each other again at this show of art, and he brings this up, and they're still bonded with the fact that she has this sense of impending doom. It's just there, it's always there, there's nothing she can escape from. And he's interested in that. He has similar sense of doom, but not quite the same level she has. And you see this play out as they become this tentative love story. She wants it, and he's a little more distant. He's trying to help her, but he's kind of reticent. He doesn't want to ruin someone's marriage. And it's this idea of, is he like just emotionally reticent and can't connect, or is it something worse in the system? Or who knows if he's repressed or what? but he takes her to this medium who tells her, warns of a man who can only make love in his head, he can't make love in reality, and it's like, is this guy or what? And that story plays out. And she keeps going into these phases of her life in the future, 2044, and the past life as she's come back and forward. And as she's seeing this new world, it's very quiet, everyone's distant from each other, but it feels plausible. It's like, this is what human beings would do to each other. They're distrustful, they're wearing masks when they're outside, so the environment must be not in a great condition. And there's a sense of the world has been damaged by human behaviour. And this is a logical thing. So you're going back between this world of invention of the technology and this world of the technology has run amok, and it's only like 100 odd years later, but it's done a lot of damage. We then go forward to another life she had, where she was an actress in LA in 2014, and this is one that's been foretold that she's going to get murdered. And George McKay's back here, and he's now a stalker incel guy who can't connect with women at all, and he's obviously got mental issues and got a feeling of doom, and he wants the world to end. Basically, he just wants the impending, like, savagery of a civil war is something he's hyped for. He's ready for it. He's always a representative of a lot of people who feel left out by the world. They're very emotional. They can't process emotions. Meanwhile, Seydoux' character is someone who wants to be an actress, so she's always still in the arts, but she can't actually. She's doing modelling and she's doing commercials, but she's not actually connecting there. She's not quite sure if it's how to connect to the real world in this place, because there's no real world ultimately, and she's isolated. She's turned a lot of people on the phones through technology, which is something that happens in the future as well, where everything's done via voices rather than face to face, the way it was done in the original story. In the French story, everything was done face to face, even though there's a lot of repression. Now, less is done that in the 2014 world. There's still some human communication, but less is done, and there's a sense of people are mad and people are insane and people have crazy views and no one's reliable. People drop in and out of people's lives, and everyone's kind of lonely and unsure of themselves, and technology is separated us, but we're also doing it to ourselves. It's much more easy to deal with technology, and technology is just an expression of human want rather than like some evil thing. It's basically an expression of what humans are and what humans want from the world, and it's humans refocus themselves, and ultimately make it 2044, after humans have almost destroyed the world, they have used technology to distance themselves even further from their emotions. But it's more complicated than that. It's not just, technology is bad. It's actually, it's what we do with technology is bad. It's not, technology is basically evolving through what we do with it. It's not inherently evil, it's not inherently good. It's what we do with technology that causes a lot of the issues. It's all about human nature, and this technology allows people to go back and see their past. It doesn't mean everyone's going to react to the past in the same way, because there's a percentage of people who go through this process that can't go through it because of whatever, there's something in them that won't submit. And because Seydoux' character is an artist, she's in danger of being in this. You're told that from the off, there's a danger you might not be able to go through with this because of your temperament. So it's like, how much does she want it? And in that time she meets another character played by George McKay, who's also going through the same thing as her, is reliving past lives. He says he's not doing it yet, but he's curious. And it's this thing of, will she reconnect with him in this life, and how do these other lives play out with these two? And there's a lot going on. But the thing is, it all makes sense, because each section has its space to evolve. It's 2.5 hours long, this film, and the direct Bonello gives everything space to evolve. So the first half of the film is basically the future stuff and the French past stuff. The second half is the future stuff and the LA area, and they're separated. Like in the French area, there's a lot of talk. People are talking, communicating, but they're still distant from each other. There's a lot of emotion, but no one can communicate directly. And they're always talking in puzzles, trying to figure things out. But there's an emotional distance. In the LA thing, there's an emotional and a physical distance. There's much less dialogue. People are in their heads a lot more. The only person who's talking is the George McKay character, and he's talking gibberish most of the time. Like, he's trying to make sense of his life, but he can't face himself at all. And the Seydoux character she's just trying to work out, is it worth it? Where's her life going when there's no like human communication with anybody? Everyone just feels lonely and distant from each other, and she's finding LA very alienating because it's very much a class based. It's like, what are you doing? That's what you're worth. Which leads to the future idea of what you're doing. That's what you're worth. If you're not been cut off, you're not worth anything. So it's like how humanity goes round in circles as well. It's not like a case of, in some ways it's moving in a certain direction, in other ways it's very circular. Certain phrases come up in each time zone, suggesting there's repeat of behaviour, even though the characters are in different spaces, but they're the same in some ways. Like McKay's character is emotionally distant in all three occasions. He's just a more reticent person. In the LA story, he's that same feeling of doom that Seydoux had in the first story, and it's a sense of what does he do with it, and in this case he takes him to the worst possible place. In the French section, Seydoux has the feeling of doom, but it does not lead her to the same destructive behaviour that leads to him. But it could. It's that thing of she's mulling it over, but she's not trying to destroy the world. She's just trying to find some peace, even though she's got a husband who she loves, but they're very different and there's an emotional detachment in some ways. There's a much more emotional attachment to McKay's character. In the second one, she doesn't have any emotional attachment. But in the future story, it's almost humanity. Something feeling of doom, and they have to kind of cut themselves off, and humanity is just going into the worst future scenario is just to cut off your emotions, and that's not particularly a good idea. But then again, the film points out that humans, when they follow emotions in these other sections, is not a good idea either. But there's a sense of fate going through this, a sense of people going down the wrong roads always, but there's no solution to anything. It's just because human beings are messy, and we think we're doing the right thing, we think we're doing something logical, or we know it's illogical, but maybe there's something on the other side of it. And what there is usually disaster. And it's like human beings not feeling the same mistakes. It's making the same mistakes, but not feeling them, not thinking them through. And there's also a sense of the medium gets the idea of he loves you in his dreams. He can be love to you in dreams, but not in reality. Is it Tom McKay's character from the French section, or is it from his character in the LA section? As she see as the medium seen the future, or is it him? Is that the essential him? That's always ever going to be to her. And it's like that's the thing is, and she desires touch and communication. She's never getting it, and whenever she tries it, it just never works out. There's always a sense of frustration with it, and how the body and the mind are always at odds, and how the body's changing through technology, and how the mind's just getting more and more unsatisfied with the results of it. And it is the relying on technology, is that the solution to the problems, or is it the other solutions, or is there any solution to the problems of human beings? So there's a lot going on, and this is me just scratching the surface of it. I'm going to stop because I could go on and it would just start becoming gibberish. But it is a wonderful film. It is so good. You just have to see it. It's stunning. But there's a lot going on, and it's probably going to take a few more viewings for me to kind of figure certain things out to explain in some any kind of logical detail. So I hope you enjoyed this rambling video. I'll be back with some more. Bye.